Sometimes you need to get knocked down before you can really figure out what your fight is and how you need to fight it. Sometimes you need to feel the pain and sting of defeat to activate the real passion and purpose that God predestined inside of you. God says in Jeremiah, I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Hear me well on this day. This day when you have reached the hilltop and you are deciding on next jobs, next steps, careers, further education. You would rather find purpose than a job or a career. Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet at this particular time in history. Your very existence is wrapped up in the things you are here to fulfill. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. When God has something for you, it doesn't matter who stands against it. If it's meant for you, God will move someone that's holding you back away from a door and put someone there who will open it for you. I don't know what your future is, but if you're willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it. Press on with pride and press on with purpose and appreciate what God has brought you through.
Zeta Phi Beta's got soul. Zeta Phi Beta's got soul. Zeta Phi Beta's got soul. I love my Z5. I love my Z5. Zeta Phi Beta's got soul. I love my Z5. I love my Z5. Zeta Phi Beta's got soul. I love my Z5. I love my Z5. Zeta Phi Beta's got soul.
Well, we're finally here. The top teams in college basketball have been determined and the Final Four is set. Hey, it's your man Lloyd Spence, and look, if you're looking to wager on these games or the national championship, head over to betonline.ag on your desktop or your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V, to get started. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all updated odds and info, along with player props and new contests throughout the year. It's the best source for all your sporting wagering needs, including live betting and everyone's favorite, Vegas casinos and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so join today and learn why everyone is saying that BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on sports. Because it's BetOnline, and it's where the game starts. Talkin NOIZ.
Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Yeah. Can I make you groove now? Yes, I can. So you can get this groove in the back of a can. I can make it round the world when it holds in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. It's a popcorn world. It's a popcorn world.
Breaking down the rumors and smelling out. Speaking for the people who must go around. Taking truth to power with a whisper and a shout. We're talking noise. Oh yeah, talking noise. Hey yeah, say it again, say we're talking noise. Yeah, talking noise. Really don't have to fool around. Never noise keeps us under. When the truth provides the sign that you is a sign of success. We're talking noise. Oh yeah, talking noise. Yeah, picking up all the time. We're talking noise. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Talking noise. Say it again. We're talking noise.
Welcome to Talkin NOIZ, the daily podcast that brings you up to speed and keeps you informed about real issues affecting real people. With your host, Mr. Talkin NOIZ himself, Lloyd Spence. His beautiful wife, Mrs. Noise, Kenyatta Spence. The ever-informed Brother Noise, Alan Brown. And yours cordially, Uncle Noise, Shake Anderson. Come on in and join us as we reveal and opine today's most pressing issues. Real truth while having real fun. Talkin NOIZ is in your house right now. So sit back and enjoy Talkin NOIZ.
Yo, what's going on, good peoples of the noise land? Don't be alarmed. We're back. Mama Noise and Mr. Vacay Noise is in the building. He is full on vacay right now. It is real. It is happening. It is unfolding right before your very eyes. And I am happy for my brother because he is kicking it in these streets. Al B, ladies and gentlemen, Al B. He's not even here right now. Look at him. He's just he stepped away from the screen for a second, but he'll be back.
And you're Mr. Peace in the Valley?
I am Mr. Peace in the Valley because that's what I want for the peoples. I want peace. Let there be peace. Peace in the valley.
Oh, is that how it goes?
Let there be peace. You know, every gospel song goes that way. Peace. You know, it always sounds like a car's trying to start up.
Nope.
You know that's true, Mama Noah.
I was with you at first. Now you took a turn.
No, you know I'm telling the truth. Some of them old gospel deacons. That's how they would roll with it, Mama Noah.
I don't know. Let's ask a gospel deacon.
Okay. Am I wrong, Al?
Sound like an old Mitsubishi that has a low battery.
That's exactly right.
Zing grace.
That's how it would sound. That's how it would sound. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. It's just how it is. It didn't take away from the anointment.
Anointment.
Yeah. The anointment was still there.
Anointment.
Yeah, you know the anointment comes down and blesses the people.
I'm thinking anointment.
No, anointment from the Lord. You know.
I'm thinking triple antibiotic ointment.
Oh no. You sniffling? Why are you sniffling?
Man, it's weather change, bruh.
Oh, it's got you a little
Was
bit.
it that, or was it that night air?
I mean,
hey, are you trying to call Al out?
That's my grandma used to say it was the night
when
air.
it started because I was out Wednesday night and it was like 80 degrees. I was out Thursday night and it was like 40 degrees.
Right.
But still, the underlying factor is this frequent and dramatic change of weather.
Yeah. No, it'll get you if you're not careful. I was sniffling a little bit. And then sneezing, but that could be just dust. I don't know. Not dust because you ain't dusting. I'm saying just in general. You know, allergies and stuff. This is sinus weather, allergy weather. So dust in the air, Mama. No, it ain't just dusting you. Why you always gotta take it there?
But I've never had sinus issues, but
I didn't either until I moved to Texas.
I have a newly found empathy for those that do suffer. I think it was Friday. I was on the show. I had a sneeze attack Friday.
You got a little bit of a sneeze thing going on Friday. Yeah. I've been working with it, just dealing with what I deal with. You know, I ain't tripping. Oh gosh. Let's Al, you got your mouth full. So let me go ahead and just open the service, man. Go ahead and enjoy your vacay. You're on full vacay mode. I don't want to interrupt a good, snacking, as I see. Looks like it's you enjoying yourself, and I appreciate that. So let me just go ahead and get the people's called to worship. White Organist. Is he in the bathroom?
He on a smoke break.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all can't be. Oh, there he is. White Organist, are you ready? Do what? That's after search. Don't do that. You ain't never jammed me up before. Can we do that after church? I got the envelope ready. Stop playing.
No play, no pay.
Wow.
White Organs, we're not doing this today. Are you on vacay too? Is that what's going on?
He
What?
said no pay, no
Okay.
pay.
He's fine. He got a light bill due, like your boy from Martin, you know.
They wrote a song about it. Give it over to the Lord, he'll work it out.
Well, we gonna take care of him. We always take care of White Organs. Thank you, White Organs. That was good. That's good. Ooh, that's particularly nice, White Organs. Thank you. The sultry sounds of White Organist. Ladies and gentlemen, we are grateful to be here with you today. This is more like a vacation Bible verse, school version of Talkin NOIZ today, because Al's on vacay. We don't want him in a full revival situation, so we put him on vacation Bible school version. So you don't need to grab your programs. We didn't make those today, or tithe and envelope. We didn't make those. What we did though is we have juice and cookies in the back, and just grab you some juice and cookies and head over to the pews. We're gonna allow you to eat in the pews today and just enjoy yourself. So please enjoy. Thank you, White Organs. He be on it, man. I think that's why he got confused, because he thought it was like a regular church service. He's like, "Why am I here?" And I was like, "Well, bro, we just, we have a service. It just ain't like a normal one." So, in case you missed the Monday, we here, we back. Lot to talk about that you probably missed over the weekend. The turn up was real for some people. I mean, the turn up was very real for some. First of all, before I get to everybody else's turn up, shout out to our own turn up. The show that we promoted for 2 weeks lived up.
Oh my gosh.
It was really, really, really good. And the energy from the noisemakers did not disappoint. They brought their A game. We brought our A game. And everybody just had a good time, man. What can I say? We had a really good time. People were inboxing us like, "Oh my God, this is one of the best shows we've ever had." And they were like, "Oh man, we gotta do this again." And some people inboxed and said, "Oh my God, I got some." So I was like, "That's a little much." I didn't really know that part. But I mean, if it worked out for you, then praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
And we had some first time listeners that really enjoyed themselves.
Did we?
Yeah, I was reading. It was in the chat. I was able to read the chat, but there's no way I could have heard the show.
Right. For where
location I was at.
Sora Smith, first time joining us, and
yeah. I forgot about Sora. Yeah, she
enjoyed herself, so she was active in the chat.
Yeah, she had a real good time. She had a ball. Let me just tell you.
And some of our day oneers, or maybe day tours, they were in the chat and actively listening. So it was awesome.
It was good. It was good. Good response.
I was shocked there was more ladies than men.
Well, men are, I don't know. I don't know what that was about either, but
we got all the answers, so we didn't need to be there.
There you go. That's what. Well, listen, that's what happened.
True. So not true.
That's what happened with us Saturday night. Now, other people had other stuff going on Saturday night.
Oh. Let's set some ground rules right now, y'all. Let's set some ground rules. If I say anything tonight, anybody got a fucking problem with? You got one motherfucking option what you can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Because if you think you want to walk up on this stage, this ain't the motherfucking Oscars. And if you walk your ass up here, you ain't nominated for shit but these motherfucking hands.
I think you get the gist of it. He goes on to talk about his brother. That's his brother, and there's a lot of rock brothers, which I was not aware of, that there was that many rock brothers. I always thought it was just him and Tony, or Tony and Chris, but apparently it's like 7 of them.
No, he said 10 of us.
Well, he said 10. It's 10. I think he said 10, but he meant it's 10 total siblings. But I think there's only 7 Rock brothers.
Oh,
maybe
okay.
it's half brother.
According to him, they are actively looking for Will Smith. I don't know where they're looking. Like, I'm sure he ain't that hard to find, but
No.
So I don't know, man. That was aggressive. I was like, ooh, the energy. He said we own Pop all year. I'm like, Pop? What does that even mean? Like, apparently he's on big Tupac energy until further notice. They sent out a Pac alert, I guess, to the family or something.
That's his walkout. That's his walkout music.
Yeah. Well, I'm
so mad that he's not on the bill the 15th.
What's happening the 15th?
That tour is coming to Louisville on the 15th. The
Sports
tour, but he's not on the bill that weekend.
Oh wow, okay. He wasn't the only one to speak on the circumstances this weekend. Denzel Washington has some things to say about Will's situation.
Smith's assault on Chris Rock during the Oscars.
The first people to...
When the devil comes at you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right. And for whatever reason, the devil got a hold of that circumstance.
Speaking to Bishop T.D. Jakes at his International Leadership Summit Saturday, 11,000 people in attendance, the Oscar winner revealing how he leaned on his faith when he and Tyler went to speak to Smith.
I don't know all the ins and outs of the situation, but I know the only solution was prayer. I don't want to say what we talked about, but there, but for the grace of God, go any of us.
Bishop Jakes telling ABC News what Smith did was wrong.
Well, we don't need Bishop Jakes to tell us that. We kind of all
Do you think he's going to say he did the right thing?
Right. Yeah, I mean, we all know that what he did was wrong. But I just thought it was interesting that Denzel would speak about it publicly like that at this leadership conference. And then, of course, for those who may or may not know it, Will Smith officially resigned from the Academy this weekend, citing his actions once again, saying it was inappropriate. He also said that whatever other punishments that the Academy might have, and they are meeting on the 18th of April, I think it is, he said he would accept that without, without any pushback, but he is prepared for whatever they would like to do. So and basically, for those who may be wondering, what does it mean to resign from the Academy? It just means right now that he is no longer a voting member of the Academy. So that's all it means. I don't know what that means going forward with the rest of it, but this, hopefully, I don't know where this is all supposed to go. Maybe on the 18th, this will all be over. They'll make the decision, and then that'll be the end of that. But I'm sure that's not it. I'm sure that's not going to be the end. I'm sure at some point, Jada and Will are going to sit at this, I almost said aggressive cuz noise word. I'm sure they're going to sit at this table, this red table, and discuss the entire things and get a ratings boom on that.
Oh, my gosh.
Because that's how that seems to be what they do,
It is right now.
Go ahead, Al. I'm sorry, you muted. Yeah.
Just saying, I'm sure that's coming. That's
right.
Already produced and on the cutting.
They're cutting it up as we speak, right?
Right.
So, not to spend a whole lot of time on that particular subject, it was interesting to juxtapose the two situations. The Grammys were last night, and the Grammys went off without a hitch. No problems.
Say it again. I
just heard it. The Grammys went off without a hitch.
No pun intended.
A hitch or a Hancock. So there you go. Oh, that's like a double left time. There you go. Okay. Shout out to Trevor Noah, who handled himself brilliantly, as to the surprise of no one. He handled himself brilliantly. dismissed it relatively quickly, like right in the first 5 seconds, 10 seconds of the Grammys. He said, we're going to have fun. We're going to sing songs. We're going to stay in our seats and keep our names out of people's mouths and go on with the show, and left it at that. And that was the end of it. He didn't say anything more about it, didn't reference it.
I guess so. He done already said and keep our names out of other folks.
But he had to say something though, Mama Noah. You can't listen. That's the biggest. I thought about this weekend. That story was bigger in many ways than the Ukraine, than the Clarence Thomas thing that's going on.
The Supreme Court Justice.
Supreme Court, I haven't heard anything about Ketanji Brown, Jackson Brown. I mean, that story dominated every part of everything.
Yeah.
For a whole week. And it was like, so.
Oh my gosh. And still continues to
and still the residue is still spilling over into this next week.
Funny you said that, because I just saw a post on Facebook that said don't be fooled. Keep focused on this couple, talking about the Thomases and not
the
this
Clarence
couple.
Thomas situation.
They're like, don't be distracted.
So I'm still trying to understand, if I'm being perfectly honest, because right when I was about to get into the Clarence Thomas situation, I didn't I got drug over by this nonsense. So I'm still trying to understand. So Al, you are great at understanding these type of things, and so help me understand what the heck is going on with this situation with Clarence Thomas. Is it his wife sent out some text messages or something?
There was a series of text and communication between her and a White House official under the Trump administration. And if I'm not mistaken, and I'm sure somebody will correct me in the chat, if I'm not mistaken,
this is during the presidential election.
Right. One of those communications was from a Clarence Thomas account.
Oh. So did she accidentally tweet this out? Is that what happened?
No. Some of the communications were encouraging, almost demanding that the election be overturned. So, yeah, it's more seditious than malicious. You know what I mean?
Okay. So it was really just the energy that she brought to the game.
Right.
That he said, if you call 26 texts an accident, oh wow, 26. It was 26 texts. Lord have mercy, Gina, Virginia.
There was no accident involved.
Is she tired of him being a part of the Supreme Court? So she basically trying to sabotage his whole thing? Is that what's going on?
Well, I mean, this was back then. This was when it was popular,
Yeah, but I'm saying, is she sending them out now?
Oh no, I think this is
like
all resurfaced from then. I don't think this is. I mean, she's not backing away from what she did. That's for sure.
I think she's always tried to let it be known what she stands for, regardless of who her husband is. Like, we ain't on the same page when it comes to, I guess who she wanted for president.
So did she want? Okay. So bring me up to speed. She did not want Donald Trump. She wanted Joe Biden.
No.
She wanted Donald Trump.
Yeah, she wanted the election results overturned.
Oh, so I'm sure Clarence Thomas is a conservative, so they probably voted for the same person, Mama Noise. But listen, I mean, she drank the Kool-Aid like everybody else.
But this is whatever is going on is so monumental. As a reason why Al saw that post saying that is because I've been watching the news. I watch it every morning, and I haven't heard anything about this. That's the scary part. You're like, why are we not discussing this? Why are we not talking about what has happened? Yet you got people saying that Clarence Thomas should resign, and about actions of his wife and so on and so forth. Yet this woman we got Ketanji trying to get in, and then we got this guy's wife doing the most, and folks is trying to get him out. So it's like, why aren't we talking about this? Because
I can understand. I can understand why they're asking her to resign or saying it's a problem, because if she is so hardcore and her influence is as strong as it appears to be, then there's no way he can come to a judicial circumstance, a court case in regard to Donald Trump with an unbiased opinion. And so, he would need, or I would think people would want him to recuse himself, because it's just there's no way he could come with an unbiased opinion. It's not going to happen. Which is going to give Donald Trump the cover he needs to skate through that circumstance. Let's see. I'm trying to read through some of the. I want to read through some of the text messages now. I just want to see what they're talking about.
Oh, it's the text messages are so blatant now. They even use it. They use Clarence Thomas and his wife as a skit on SNL.
Oh yeah, well SNL is gonna get you now. That's just part of the game.
SNL this weekend.
I didn't get a chance to see it yet.
They come for everybody.
I will. Oh, listen, they don't mind getting you now. They gonna get you. I'm trying to find the text message. Y'all keep talking amongst yourselves. So there you go. While I make this thing happen here. Here it is. Now, see, you just gotta dig a little deeper, as Alice taught us all. Dig a little deeper so we can know the truth. We hadn't played that song too long.
No doubt.
Well, then again, I may have clicked the wrong button. Okay. So anyway, while we're going through trying to find the answer to that, going back to what Mama Noise you just said, Ketanji is the Judicial Committee is, I think, voting today on what's going to happen with her. Is she going to get the Judicial Committee's blessing to go forward? And I hope so. I really hope they can go on and get through this part at least, and just give her a real shot. I don't know why. Man, this seems like it's taking longer than it probably should have, in my opinion. But you know what? They probably all have taken this long, and I'm just in my black feelings right now. Okay. Here's some of the transcripts from the text messages. Let's see here. Let's see. Where we got some. Oh, there's some archived recordings as well. Oh Lord, this is a lot. We may not be able to read all this. Y'all gotta go read this for yourself. It's a lot. I thought it was a short thing, but it's a lot. The bottom line is she's saying a lot of things. She's not. She wants justice.
Thomas.
No, she wants justice in the sense of the election being overturned, which would be a conflict of interest for Judge Thomas. Is that? Let me ask you a question. Because a judge is not supposed to discuss cases with anybody, including his spouse. But is that realistic to believe that a judge wouldn't talk to his spouse about the cases? You muted out. You muted. Yeah.
About as realistic as to believe a juror doesn't discuss circumstances of tries with their significant other.
I don't know.
I would think that there's.
I would think, in my opinion, I would think it's just as like, my father used to. I always ask him the type of stuff that the different types of assignments and stuff that he do. I wasn't asking for details. I was just like, did you go over here? Did you go over there? And he just like, if I tell you, I have to kill you. I would hope that there would be some type of loyalty where you don't lay in the bed and say, you know what, we got a bomb, blah, blah, blah. Well, we had to go and secretly kill so-and-so. I would hope that that's not the type of stuff that spews out, because that's what they say that they do, is that it's something that they would never discuss with their spouse.
I mean, I hear you. Very few people have the propensity to not discuss something with their spouse. Very few.
Okay.
Like I full disclosure, like when before Kieta joined me in counseling sessions, I didn't talk to her about counseling sessions that I did. Like I just felt like I was supposed to, there's a creed too. You kind of take an oath, or not an oath, but you know what I mean? You're supposed to keep it private. Let me just say
right.
So I did. I tried to keep it private. And then she started joining me for some sessions, for joint couple sessions, and then we would keep that private. But I don't know. I don't know. I get why people are in an uproar. I just don't know if that is the hill.
But I mean, it doesn't sound like, okay, so they had conversation. She out here wilding, sending text messages like she think that because she's the wife of a Supreme Court justice that she should have some type of influence.
Well, but the truth of the matter is, I mean, I don't know. Is that something impeachable though? Should that be impeachable?
I mean,
because there's no way to be able to tell whether or not she has influence. Like when he sits on a bench and judges a case, nobody knows whether or not he has influence. She had influence. So I don't know how you would. How do you gauge that?
But then that brings the question that means every president's wife, every vice president's spouse, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's spouse. So you're saying that there's a possibility that everybody's significant other could possibly divulge, because they're all privy to certain types of information.
Well, but you're not gonna tell me Barack didn't discuss stuff with Michelle. I'm sure he did.
Well, that's true. I'm just saying. So I'm saying, what are we talking about here if that's the case? Because everybody's spouse or significant other or whatever is put in situations where they overhear and so on and so forth.
But my point is, Mama Noise, and Al, I love your opinion as well. Does any of that mean it's compromising his judgment? How do you know that? How do you know what's compromising his judgment? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know. So
are they saying the judge has been compromised? Or are they saying that he's given her information that she shouldn't have?
I don't know what they're saying. But again, how do you prove any of it? Is any of that in the text message? Are any of the text messages where she's saying stuff that she has privy information that she shouldn't have?
Well, the title of the things I'm seeing, it says that it was a secret plot that was busted by his wife. So what if she didn't get information she shouldn't have? How could she be involved in a secret plot? And they got Democrats that are calling for him to be to step down.
That's just political grandstanding.
Yeah,
of course they're going to do that.
But did she have information, the secret plots and all that stuff? I don't know.
Well,
I have no idea.
I haven't heard that either. I haven't heard that.
I don't think that it's a matter of secret plots. I just think that, you know, like Lillian said, it should be held in great secrecy. But I tend to believe that pillow talk between spouses and significant others, you kind of throw some of those things out the window because you trust that your spouse or your lover understands that anything you say is strictly between you and she or you and he, whatever the case may be. So
right. I and again, from a legal perspective, I just don't know how you prove that. Like, will you give a lie detector test? I mean, how do you prove it? Like, and even if you prove that he told her, can you also prove that it compromises judgment? Or, I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one. So I think that the uproar is louder than the actuality of what this case, or if it's not really a case. But
and I thought in the court of law, you can, as a spouse, cannot.
Well, that's a whole different thing. Yeah, that's
and again, I don't think that this has anything to do with what she knows or what they may have discussed. I think it's more to do with the fact of some of the things that she requested in these communications. I think it, like I said earlier, it's her seditious comments that are causing an uproar.
Well, she probably is seditious. I mean, let's just, she may have some real.
It's no different than anybody else on January the 8th that were causing for the overturn of the election and rebellion against the wishes of the government. So
yeah,
and I think that's more to do. And it's so alarming is because he holds such a high position in the in the scheme of things as far as the United States
in the judicial system, right?
So
he sits on the highest court of the land.
Yeah,
but I would imagine
some might say he has more power than the president himself. So
I'm not a fan of Clarence Thomas, never have been, but I have to believe that he's not taking his cues from Virginia.
I do not agree with you.
Really? I don't think I would.
If you've ever witnessed her in an interview, she has Karen vibes all over her. And
I agree.
But he likewise has Willis vibes all over him. You know how Helen used to truck wheel?
Yeah.
I get the sense Virginia's trucking.
She runs him over.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
does it take someone to? Well, we said we're gonna wait till after Ketanji gets in office before I ask that question.
Well, that's gonna be a lot tougher than it should be. For whatever reason, I don't know why she's not going to come out of the Judicial Committee. Traditionally, it will be an 11-11 split, straight down party lines, which is so unfortunate. But the Judicial Committee has the opportunity to have her discharged from the committee, and then it would still go to the Senate floor. So, not one single Republican publicly has made it known that they would be willing to vote her, confirm her on her merits, or move her forward before the Senate.
Right.
Which is currently taking place now.
I was just happening right now in real time.
The senators are presenting their arguments on why she should not be, and then they expect to vote as well today.
Well, this will be very, 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 very interesting to see how this all unfolds. Well, our thoughts, will be with this situation. We praying for Kentanji. We praying for her. Praying for you, girl. To see if this all works out the way that it should work out. But it is going to definitely be an uphill climb, to say the least.
Man,
yeah.
sure is rough for the black woman, boy.
Well, when has it not been rough for the black woman?
No, I'm just saying, I'm thinking, man, I know they went through some stuff with what was her name? Sotomayor.
Yeah.
First Hispanic Supreme Court justice, but I don't remember this. I know that, they gave us some, some people was like, no, whatever, but I don't remember them sifting through her as much.
Oh, they did. They listen. It's all political. And they're going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. They're trying to embarrass the person. They're trying to see if they can get the person to crack and say something stupid.
The Democrats did it when Clarence Thomas, but it wasn't discussed because we wasn't down with Clarence,
right?
So it wasn't that public, but they went after Clarence like that, just like the Republicans are going after Kentanji,
right?
What about that last? Didn't Trump get one of the Supreme Court justices in?
Two. He had two appointees.
What was his name?
Barrett. No, Barrett was the woman. What was that other clown?
His name was Kennedy.
Was accused of rape.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that dude, and it was like, oh, hands down.
They took him to the cleaners too.
It's like he's not getting in, but then all of a sudden, there was nothing else.
But you know what? I'll be honest with you. There's a certain part of this I don't have a problem with, because I don't want a judge on there that has issues.
Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with them doing it. I kind of appreciate the scrutiny of them, because at least we know what we're dealing with. So I'm okay with that. I'm not going to.
And Princess Noise, and let me admonish myself. Alan, get out the chat. Get that out of the way. But Princess Noise said it best. This is escalating for all the wrong reasons.
Right. Oh, yes. Very much so. Very much so. Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. And if any news breaks, even while we're on the show today, we will let you know. It
will not break.
I don't think so either, but I have to put that,
because there's a minimum of 4 hours of discussion before they even have the initial vote, and they've already said that it will not be before 5:30 before they discharge her from the committee.
Right.
Oh.
Okay. Well. Let's see here. What else we got going on? Well, I said the Grammys went on this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting, actually.
I didn't watch it.
I watched a little bit of it. Red, Al.
I would love to see what their Nielsen ratings are.
I would think that they were a little bit higher in the beginning of the Grammys than at the end, because just out of pure curiosity, people just want to see, is anything going to pop off? But the elements of pop off weren't there. Like, there was no Kanye, there was no Chris Rock, there was no Will Smith, so all the elements that would be pop off elements were not there. So, shout out to Silk Sonic, who won Record of the Year, as well as they actually won it for Leave the Door Open.
Yes, Leave the Door Open.
Yeah,
you might as well, if she got you paying the rent.
Right.
It's your door, so you better leave it open.
Oh my God.
So they won for Record of the Year, Song of the Year. They won for, what was the other one? They won 4. Whatever 4 they were nominated in, they won. Best R&B performance and also Best R&B song. So they won for those 4. Shout out to Jasmine Sullivan, who won R&B Album of the Year.
What?
In a very tight category. She won R&B Album of the Year. Shout out to John Baptiste, who won Album of the Year. Which is a very cool thing. See the black man doing his thing. Shout out to John Baptiste. John is a different kind of dude. He is a musician's musician. Like he got all the elements. Like he had the funky little outfit on last night. He looked good. I mean, he did his thing, but he did his thing. But he's a true musician, but in the eclectic sense of the word. I didn't see his wife there though. Is she still? I think she's dealing with with cancer stuff. Yeah, I think she had a bone marrow transplant or something. That's why she probably wasn't there last night. Great question. What's the difference between the record of the year and the song of the year? Okay, great question. So, the record of the year is supposed to highlight the producer, recording engineers, mixers, and artists that created that song. The song of the year is supposed to specifically highlight the songwriters of that song. So it's a songwriters award. So that's basically the difference. One is a full production, including songwriting and everything. It's an all-inclusive type award, and the other is just strictly for songwriting. So, but I think her won an award last night.
Okay.
She performed last night. She had the performance of the night. It was really impressive. She kind of did like a medley of her songs, but she had Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis perform with her on one. And then she had Lenny Kravitz and Travis Barker perform on one, and then it was somebody else performing on another. I was like,
wow.
Okay, show the diversity. I see it. So that was cool. She did her thing. Some young lady named Olivia Rodrigo won Best New Artist, and she kind of dominated a little bit. Oh, I forgot. R&B performance was actually a tie. It was a tie between Silk Sonic and Jasmine Sullivan. Pick Up Your Feelings. So
how do you get a tie?
Well,
then what do you do about it? Everybody get one?
They both won. They both get a Grammys.
Oh, okay.
Don't forget to pick up your feelings.
Yeah, that might be the hardest breakup song I've ever heard in my life.
Oh my gosh.
Some kid named Baby Keene won for best rap performance with Kendrick Lamar.
Baby King?
Baby Keene. K-E-E-N. Baby Keene.
Okay.
So he won. Kanye and The Weeknd and Lil Baby won for best melodic rap performance. I didn't see Justin Bieber, Anthony Bruce. I apologize. So he was saying he was good. Okay. John Legend, man, tried to shut the place down with a tribute to the Ukraine. It was really good. It was really, go back. If you get a chance to go back and watch that one, you will really appreciate that one for what it was. Kanye won again for best rap song for a song, ironically, won for a collaboration, because last night Kanye could have won more Grammys than Jay-Z in the rap category, which would have put him in the top. And he actually won his Grammy last night with Jay-Z. So it didn't quite work out the way he may have wanted it to. The other one I'm usually like interested in, Chris Stapleton won Best Country Album, but the only one I'm normally also interested in is the gospel category. Esperanza Spalding won for jazz. Okay, there you go. Okay. But in gospel, CeCe Winans, man, dominated. Like, she won Best Gospel Performance for a song called Never Lost. Best Contemporary Christian Music Performance for Believe For It. Best Gospel Album for Believe For It. And then the new group, the Elevation Worship and Maverick City Music, they won for an album called Old Church Basement. So I'm not sure what that is. I've never heard that album.
My daughter is, I've never heard of them either, but my daughter is a Maverick City fan.
Maverick City is becoming like the new thing. Like they are becoming the new it group. In fact, Kirk Franklin, I think, has got a tour going on with them here soon. Like,
of course he
they're
did.
about to. Don't be like that.
They sold out. What's that place? Six Flags Over Jesus. They sold it 2 nights in a row.
Wow.
So what is this? A multicultural
Maverick City? No, I think they're pretty black.
They are?
Yeah, they're pretty. They have a all-inclusive style of worship.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're Israel.
Yeah, they're like an Israel. They're like the new version of Israel.
Right.
You know, when
a
you
little more tempo.
When you said Maverick, I'm thinking of something like Georgia Line.
No. They're not country based. No. So there you go. We want to bring an update to a story we reported earlier this year. Earlier this year, we reported that the good pastor Devon Franklin and Megan Good had parted ways, and that the marriage was essentially over. They were divorcing, and so now Megan's back out here in these streets, ladies and gentlemen, and she is allegedly dating a rapper by the name of Mr. Disaster. That's Mr. Disaster on the right, in case you were wondering. That's Devon on the left and Mr. Disaster on the right, and she's hanging out with Mr. Disaster.
Well, did Mr. Disaster FaceTime Devon? Because it looks like he's disgusted.
No. That's an old picture of Mr.
Oh,
Disaster.
okay. Looked like they were FaceTiming.
No, that's an old picture. But Megan is out here in these streets with Mr. Disaster. I don't really know what to say about this story, if I'm being honest. I feel like the sooner she can get to a counseling couch, the better, maybe. Because that just feels like where it needs to land. But it also brings up an interesting conversation. Because on one of my favorite podcasts, The Pivot, Shannon Crowder made a statement, very inflammatory statement, saying that the only reason, and you've heard this before, everybody's talked about this in the barbershop or the beauty salon or whatever, but the only reason that Sierra is with Russell Wilson is because he got that money.
Lies.
But really, the truth is, he's a corny dude. And so I bring that up because
he need to be quiet.
Well, but I bring that up. I know you can't make this stuff up, right? The reason why I bring this up is because I asked Mama Noise. We'll start with you. Do women want the thug, the guy with the edge, or the corny dude? Or do they want all of it?
It's no different than a guy saying he wants this dignified woman who can do this and who can do that. And some of them, I want me a spiritual woman who loves God, but then you want a freak in the sheet. So it's like, you want that balance. I think that women want the balance too.
So I want to ask this question. What makes Russell Wilson so corny?
Why? Because
I've heard brothers say that, but what she said,
because he loves God and all he talks about is Jesus and
is that all he talks about? Because I don't know Russell.
I'm saying that that's what he is. That his faith, that was the at the forefront, in my opinion, of him. And a lot of women have been like, I want that dude.
But I think you're missing my point.
Okay,
I don't know that for sure. That's all we know, what we see, but we don't know what that dude talks about. He might be hardcore. Like I see him playing football a lot. Right now he got all his receivers in Denver, and they practicing and they getting ready for the season. He throwing these dimes, but I don't see him doing. I mean, what's corny about what he doing? So. Because I based on what they're saying, I'm the corny dude. Like I stay home with my kids and I stay home with my wife, and I love being home with my family. So am I the corny dude too? Like, what do you? I don't understand what we call it corny. Because he ain't got no street edge or what appears to be street edge. He's corny.
And so what? He don't.
He's not out dodging bullets.
He needs to be doing that.
You know what's interesting? I just watched an interview with I hadn't finished it because it's long as hell. But I just watched an interview on another podcast, All the Smoke, with Dame Dash. And they asked Dame Dash, what is it Dame Dash day like? He said, well, I mean, I'm monitoring my businesses and I'm trying to, grow stuff and take care of my child. I love being a good father. But, and they said, so you don't really do the hood stuff. He said, I never did that. I never tried to stay in the hood. That wasn't my goal. My goal was always to get out. He said, I think that's corny. You trying to still be hardcore street your whole life. So it makes me wonder, what is this a woman thing that we got, like women got it wrong, or do men got it wrong, or do we all have it wrong? Like, have we elevated the street dude to places that he shouldn't be?
Yeah, we have elevated him to the point where you won't throw major shade on Russell. I mean, but the whole show, most of your podcast, all you talk about is you running the streets, running strippers, and doing all the stuff that you've been doing. So because
you're talking about Shannon.
I'm talking about Crowder, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. He's talking about all the stuff that he did, and man, I'm all for this. And he loved laying himself out there in full disclosure, being fully transparent. But at the same time, you're going to throw shade on the next man that says, I want to keep myself at home with my wife and my kids, and I'm trying to make my wife happy and trying to have a happy marriage. I don't understand. And he loved God. What's so corny about that? Because he ain't saying, yeah, I got a stripper pole in the bedroom for Sierra so she can do all that. Man, come on. Come on. He do be saying the off the wall stuff. So I don't
want to get too deep into the specifics of just him, because he does, but he has a role to play on that show as well. So I get that part. But the bigger juxtaposition here is that there is a sentiment among society where street dudes take the top billing. And I'm like, how did that happen? Like, how do we make street dudes the number one priority?
But that ain't new.
I didn't say it was new. I'm just saying it's like, I don't know why it's so critical to I don't know. Mama Noise, do you need me to be? Is one of the attractions? Was that one of the attractions that I lived in the hood, and so you're like, well, he got a little hood in him, so I like that. Like, if I was just strictly Jesus, would you have been like, nah, you too soft, cupcakey?
No, I
have heard you say you don't want to run over a dude.
I didn't want no cupcake dude. But at the same time, you saying Jesus the whole time didn't have me uncomfortable. I appreciated it. Because when you done been around a bunch of cussing, hell raising, and looking over your shoulder, hood living and all that type of stuff, man, come on. That ain't the way I plan to live the rest of my life. That was an experience, and I wish I didn't have to experience some of those times of all of that. But that was just a part of life that I had to experience. I experienced that. But then, man, I married an incredible man. A man that's not just a baby daddy or just my kid's father. he's an integral part of my children's life.
Right.
He's my husband. I mean, I couldn't ask for more. So
how do we know Russell won't knock a nigga out though? Like he might.
I mean, if he can run through them lines and you know, he should be able to. I would hope that he can protect himself. I don't think that's in question.
I don't know. That's a weird set of thing to say about a dude. Like he's corny.
I think they just said it because they some haters. Because listen, I see Channing saying all that stuff all the time, but yet I don't see him and his wife nowhere other than on when he was on his little podcast. Where your wife at? What y'all do?
I'm not ready to hate on the man in this.
I'm just saying you gonna talk about the next man and his wife. Where you at with your stuff?
I don't know. It's funny to me that guys like him. And I hate to bring it back to this place, but it kind of fits the argument because maybe that's the thing, you know. So we actually have an interesting dichotomy here because Russell, I'm sure, hears the corny conversations about him. I'm sure he hears it or has heard it before, and the comparisons to him in Future. But it doesn't appear now. You know, I don't know his private life or his private thoughts, but it doesn't appear that those conversations bother him or keep him from being the man that he wants to be. Look at that against Will Smith's life, and it's the complete opposite. It seemed like it bothered him every day of his life. And, you know, from the music that he made to the way he was viewed in movies to everything, he's always thought of as the corny dude. And so I wonder, is that part of the problem where the people's public perception or you living your life for people gets you into trouble to where you're always trying to live up to people's expectations or what you hope people's expectations are.
I think that's going to always lead down a slippery slope, either in a good or a bad way. If you're living your life to be a thug and you're not really a thug, you know what I mean? If you're not being your authentic self, which we've said numerous times, if you're not being your authentic self, it's never going to pan well.
It's hard to lie.
Right.
It's hard to keep up a lie, man. It's hard. It's really difficult.
If you remember here recently, that the Super Bowl party, Sierra and Russ were at the after party, and they were invited or whatever. I think it was invited by Drake and all this stuff at the after party. Well, okay, but the conflict of interest is that Drake is also friends with Future.
They've done albums together.
So then he done brought him up on stage where immediately Russ and Sierra quietly and quickly exit the party. Party's over for them.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Is that corny?
No, I think that's mature. I think that's wise. Why put your wife and yourself in a compromising position for this individual to cut the food? If that's what he decides he wants to do, let him do it by himself. Don't entertain the stupid, in my opinion. So you there, you have a good time. Oh, somebody else done showed up. They could flip the whole script of the party. We out. We done made our face. We done showed our face. We done, had a little good time, and now let's be out.
So I asked this question. Now we bring up the new. We got a new question they got to talk about because this is interesting to me. Should oh boy, this is controversial. Should the good guy marry the girl with the I don't want to say bad, challenging past? Should the good guy marry the girl with the challenging past? because Russell, something about Sierra, Russell was feeling. He was like, I gotta have it, but he maybe didn't anticipate that it was gonna come along with being the baby daddy of future kids, and I mean, that's a tricky. So I asked that question: what should the good guy marry the? Ron, stupid.
I think it's her past or his past is irrelevant.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is my prayer, my hope is that I'm marrying somebody with no surprises. So we've communicated, we've discussed, we know where we've been and we know where we're going. So what you did in the past is irrelevant. We've already discussed that. And so my prayer is that I'm marrying somebody with no surprises.
So, okay, so Al, you're Russell now. Are you prepared to give out a minute? There you go. Are you prepared to? Okay, you know what? We always do a full disclosure. Let me just do full disclosure. Bam. I actually dated a girl who had a son. And he was very, 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 very young. And they tried to in the beginning, the guy was trying to be a father for the kid, but he really sucked at it. And he only picked him up like twice a month for like a day and a half. Like he'd pick him up late Friday evening in a parking lot, and then bring the kid back early Sunday morning. So he wasn't even really with him 48 hours. Like it was just like, I mean, it was just, I don't know what it was. But anyway, it was interesting to me because I thought about that and I said, man, this situation is very rough on this kid. Like this kid, he don't really, and eventually he stopped coming to pick him up, altogether. Like he just stopped being in the boy's life and altogether. But it's just an interesting situation because how do you, if you're dating a person like that, you're essentially saying, I'm coming in to raise another man's son. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're not coming in just to raise that son. You're also coming in to deal with whatever that situation is. So with Sierra's case, Future has been very vocal about his displeasure for the boy calling Russell daddy and taking family photos and putting it on the internet and all that kind of stuff. He ain't feeling all that. So that's a tricky dynamic, man, because you are raising, that's your son. I mean, essentially, if you marry his mama, that's your son. So how do you? Ooh, that's tricky, man. I don't know. It is such a high profile situation. Like it'd be different if he wasn't Future. If he was just like Ed from accounting, then you'd be like, okay, I can manipulate, or Ed from the street corner. I can kind of work with Ed from the street corner because nobody know who Ed is, but everybody knows who Future is. So that feels like a trickier thing. I don't know. Is it all on Sierra at that point to make sure that things go the way that they're supposed to go, or how does it? What do y'all think?
It's on all of them. I would hope to say, and he's a Stanford graduate, so I'm assuming he's an intelligent man.
Sure.
And Sierra seems to be an intelligent woman. I would hope that they would enter into this situation, this arrangement, and that they constantly assure or reaffirm to this young boy that, hey, we are a family. I love you, but I am not your father.
Wow.
Future is your father. That does not mean I don't love you. That does not mean we are not a family. That does not mean that I would not die for you. I would not give my life. I would not give the world for you. But I am not your father. Future is your father.
Wow. So you think he's got to say that to him?
I would. I would.
You would say that. Wow.
If I were in a relationship, and granted that the dude was a willing participant. If the dude is absentee, you don't even have to have that conversation.
Exactly
but
right.
If the dude is a willing participant in that young man or that young girl's life, I think you have to have that conversation. I know that I would have that conversation.
You know what makes this situation hard too? Let's go back to what you just said. I thought you said that perfectly, my brother. Let's say he is an active Future is an active participant. Everybody knows Future has several kids. Like young little Future ain't the only child he got.
He's
the boy got a lot of kids. So now his value system from his biological dad is completely different than the value system of his stepfather. So now you have the now, by the way, we're not talking about problems that tons of black people don't have. Like, this is not a new problem, and but this is a challenging issue because he's trying to raise his kid to love the Lord and do things the right way. And his daddy over here like, hey man, whatever you feeling, just go for it or whatever. Like, there's two different belief systems going on. Ron said he would approach it as Future is your father, but I'm your dad. Ooh, okay. Ooh, that's strong. Okay. You as a man have to be comfortable in your true self. If you live in your life to try to please a woman despite your true self, you're playing a dangerous game. I don't know what that means. If you live in your life to please a woman, I don't understand what that means.
It may be a delay. It may go back to be.
There might be something
discussing earlier about being yourself and not.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I got.
Might be. I don't know.
That's probably right. That's probably right. Okay, but I'm just saying this is a tricky situation, man. I don't know.
It is really tricky, especially now that you've introduced. It doesn't change, my perspective, but it does introduce another obstacle or another challenge when you bring in different moral, social standards to live by.
Right.
Future's moral code, his living standards are different, which apparently they appear to be than Russell's. It adds a very challenging dynamic to the relationship. Absolutely.
How much say so, Mama Noise, should Russell have in the, I don't say development. Well, yeah, the development of Lil Future. Is it as limited as you get to set the example for him, and that's the extent of it, or is it you get to really have I don't know. This is a tricky one to me. I don't know. You tell me what your thoughts are. How much influence should he have? Is the question. I guess is the question.
He's gonna have a lot of influence because he lives in his house.
Well,
I mean, he visits. I don't know the arrangements, but he visits. Has visitation rather. However often, but the real impact is the person whose environment you're in the most.
Okay.
I'm speaking as a child of divorce, and I didn't have my dad in the house with me. I went to visit, there was a little influence there, but the visits weren't as often as living in the house with mama. So living in the house with my mama had more impact on me than visiting my father once a year or once every 6 months. That's not like some fathers that visit, have visitation weekly, monthly, or whatever. When you have that type of involvement, that's a whole different paradigm. But when somebody that just visits every now and then, it sounds like to me that the environment of where the child lives has the most influence.
So, okay, man, this is a good topic. I almost wish we would say this for tomorrow, but but this is a good topic because you're right, 1,000%. The challenge is, though, what I've seen. Let me just say this: what I have seen is that though a child may not grow up in the house with a negative influence,
mm-hmm.
the DNA of that negative influence is still in that child.
Mm-hmm.
And so it depends on the ability of that child to reconcile the elements of his or her situation. So, for example, I have a friend who married a woman who had 2 kids. And one of the kids initially, while he treated that kid amazingly, he still, for just a little small season, kind of followed into the negative footsteps of his father. Wasn't a long time, but he spent a few years following in the wrong footsteps, so to speak. He eventually came back and was fine and worked it out mentally or whatever. And he realized that his stepfather was a phenomenal dude, treating him right, blah, 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 blah. And he reconciled that that's my dad too. This is my biological father, and he's done some things that ain't right. But my other dad has done some things and set an example for me. And he's now typically following that example. Whereas the younger child, she was all in from the start. She was like, I know exactly who this ninja is over here biologically. And it ain't it. I will respect him, and I will always treat him with the respect of being my biological dad, but that's my father.
Mm.
I'm mute out. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
It's similar to Shaquille O'Neal's situation. Although it was
yes.
He was like, well, you my father, but my dad was, such and such. That's who was there.
Sergeant, yeah, what's his name? Yeah.
The reality is the deciding factor lies in Sierra.
And the stage that she sets for him.
Right. How much authority will she allow Russell to have over her son? That I think is the deciding factor, because that's also going to influence the relationship she has with. We see it all the time. Mixed families not lasting because, well, these ain't your kids. You ain't gonna talk to my kids like that, or
right.
Because the person she marries, he's harder on her kids than she thinks, so she's allowing her kids to disrespect him, and vice versa. He thinks that she don't treat his kids the way she ought to, or whatever. But we see it all the time, and it caused so much friction in relationships. So what is Sierra going to tolerate from Future? What is Sierra going to tolerate from Russell?
And that's one of the reasons why I bring this conversation to the forefront, because of what Mama Noise said. If all is well and you're co-parenting effectively and together, then you don't have to leave a concert where Future is playing, because he ain't a concern for us. But if there's conflict in the parenting, if there's conflict in the if he's harboring old feelings, like he still wants his boo back or whatever, then there is going to be this weird wave of of everything. It's not just going to be as simple as, you know, I don't know. Go ahead, Mama Noise.
You know, sometimes women or moms tend to find, you know, they get in a relationship with another man, once they've moved on or whatever, they have the children, and they try to erase the very existence of the actual biological father.
Right.
I've seen that time and time again where, it's like, okay, my dad's wife, when she met him, she had 2 children already. But when she met my dad, she's like, this guy is like the cream of the crop, the best thing going, the best thing since sliced bread. And I mean, she went and had, and perhaps, my father was a part of it too, that she adopted the other 2 and basically erased the existence of whoever their father was, so that they don't know anybody else but my father.
But okay, so that brings me to another question. Is that okay? Because if the elements of the biological father are, for lack of better phrasing, toxic by nature, is it okay to say, listen, I got to get rid of this. I can't have this guy be the voice of my child's existence, even though he's, okay. So this is the question I would ask based on what I just asked myself. Is a bad father better than no father at all?
I don't think so.
Is a bad father. But see, when you try to erase, in my opinion, when you try to erase the father biological, it seems like it always comes up like somewhere. It comes up with the child later on in their life. Why didn't you tell me about my father? Why didn't you let me go see my father? Even though you're saying, I tried to keep you in a better environment and expose you to better conditions. Your dad was, alcoholic, or your dad was, on drugs, or maybe not that extreme, but your dad was out there. He wanted to just, he didn't want to be in a relationship. He didn't want a father, blah, 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 whatever. And then, I'm trying to expose you to better. But then the kids always go, you should have let me be the judge of that, as if, the kids could be a judge of that. But then it's sort of, reason why I say that is because I was kind of listening in on that podcast as well with you this morning with Dame Dash, and he was saying, I want my son or my child to be able to see me, spend time with me, and be able to see my influence on that child's life. Whereas instead of the negative words and stuff, I guess he's trying to say from his mama about me because the relationship didn't go right.
Yeah, this is a tricky. Because couldn't Future, now I'm going to put myself in Future situation for just a second. Couldn't Future make an argument that it does feel like they kind of try to erase him from the equation? Like all these, now here's the other side of it. They have kids together. They have children together. So part of what they're trying to do is never let little Future feel like he's the outsider. So I get that part. But at the same time, does Big Future have a case where he can say, well, look, man, y'all got this boy in all y'all family pictures, and he is a part of your family. I get it. But every time y'all put him in a family picture, it make him look like he ain't got no, like I'm not a part of his family. You know what I'm saying? Like it. And I know maybe that's petty to say what I'm saying right now, because they don't have to put him in their family pictures, because he's technically not a part.
Listen, they are.
No, I'm talking about Big Future, not Little Future.
They don't need Big Future in the picture. Big Future had his opportunity when he was with her. He didn't want to be with her. It didn't work out. She's gone to be with a man that wants to be with her and accepts her children as his own children. Her child is his own children. And they are a family. If he wanted it that bad, he should have worked it out when they was together. Now you're going to wait and see that she's happily married, happily raising your child. She ain't begging you for nothing. Boy, I mean to tell you, I can't even imagine. I can't imagine. And I thank God that I'm not in that position. But I can't imagine trying to ask your child's father, please spend time with him. Please, he needs clothes. Please. She like, I don't need you for nothing other than your visitation. You visit with your child. You went to the game. You went to play basketball. Keep it moving.
The level of anger that you are achieving right now.
I just start to hurt.
I know, but that's my point. The level of anger that you have right now toward that situation is where I think some of the challenge of the situation is, because on one hand, she don't need Future anymore, up to and including if he don't want to be a true father to this child, he don't have to be, because Russell has stepped up and done it. So that might be part of also what Future's frustration is, because he thought once I leave her, she gonna have to depend on me anyway, and I'm gonna still be able to do what I want to do, and like he does maybe with his other baby mamas. I don't know if that's true, but he maybe does.
All them need me for something.
Let's see. As a father, you have a lot of say to the kids' development. I hope Future has sat down with Russ and had a man-to-man conversation on his kids' development. As men, they should work together. That would be the hope, but I don't know about that. Stefan said the girl I was dating wanted me to be the child's father, but the kid, dad, was still trying to be there. But because he and the mom didn't get along, the mom didn't want him around. It was the reason we ended up breaking up, because I didn't agree. That's mature. Because if the father is still active and really trying to be good in that kid's life, I don't know if you're supposed to come in and replace him. Like Al said, like if he's a good father, are you supposed to come in and like, I know that's your father, but now I'm your father. I'm a better father. I'm father 2.0. I don't know if that's supposed to happen. Because I don't know if anybody, I wouldn't want, God forbid something would ever happen to us, but I wouldn't want somebody trying to take my place. I'm going to be active in my girl's life.
Maybe active is the key word. Is it if the father is active, then it shouldn't be a conversation. But if it's an absence, and Sierra's got to deal with Future's, all his other gaggle of kids, he got about all these other random chicks. I mean, it's like,
she ain't got to deal with none of that. That ain't got nothing to do with her.
Well, but I'm saying you just like your child get lost in the shuffle because you decided to have a child by a man who's got multiple kids by multiple.
Well, listen, that's the choice you made. That he made, and that's the choice she made. Because I think he had kids before he met Sierra. So,
well, and sadly, sometimes us as women, we seem to think that we'll be the one that'll be the relationship where he ends up, marrying that woman.
This came in from Twitter. He said, my brothers are from my dad's first marriage. My brothers came to live with us and had to get with the rules of the house. Did like it at first, but eventually they realized that the rules were there to keep them safe and help them grow into men. Wow. Chad says never met his real dad, nor communication. Not sure why, but had a stepdad and he was okay, but something still felt missing. It's important you know where you come from, and I still feel not whole at times.
Oh.
Wow.
See, no. That's why I was saying the kids later on be like, why you didn't let me make a decision? At least tell me, who my father is.
What is the decision for the kid to make, though? What is that? What's the decision?
I don't know.
Why can't it be he just got 2 great parents or 3 great parents that love him and are trying to work some stuff out together and make this kid's life better than it could be? Why can't it be that simple?
I guess it in a perfect situation that it is that simple. But I feel like for me as that child, I the sad part is that I live my life comparing, because now I'm going, man, my daddy and them live in a nice house. Ain't nobody coming and repoing their furniture. Ain't nobody coming and getting their car. Ain't nobody trying to turn off their lights with a brown bill. Ain't nobody doing that. Why we can't live? Well, cause me and your dad ain't together. So now I gotta spend my whole life saying, cause you not with them, I have to suffer.
The answer to that is yes.
That's horrible.
I don't think mothers, and this is not a knock. This is just the reality of what we're talking about. This is the conversation that we're having here today. I don't know if parents always consider the casualty of parenting in the decision of divorce. I don't know if they always do. So I'm gonna ask Al, if you don't mind. If he does, he can tell us he minds and don't have to answer at all. But did that become a part of the conversation, or not a conversation, but thought process initially as you were making that decision?
No.
You didn't think about how this would affect the kids?
It just seemed like the correct course of action. You know what I mean? It just seems natural that's how things would unfold.
Is that because in your mind you said, well, whatever decision I make with her, it has nothing to do with them. Like, I'm going to be active whether I'm with her or not. Or what? Why didn't you consider that in a deeper manner, I guess is the question I'm asking. I think I know the answer, but I don't want to speak.
I think once you've reached a certain point, you realize that the only thing that matters is the welfare or the well-being of the children. Totally disregarding even my thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's what's best for them. So let alone, taking into consideration, the other parent. It's at that point, it's what's best for the kids.
I wonder as he gets older, little future, because Chad brings up another great dynamic of this. He says, I'm in a weird situation. My siblings could all reach out to their fathers and have them in their life. I'm the only one that doesn't. I wonder as he gets older, will that be his reality? Like, I see my siblings and I know we have this thing here, but I want something that's mine. I don't know. I don't know. That's, or will there still be that longing, like Chad says, or like Mama Noise said, that feeling of incompleteness that I gotta have that.
And see, I would hope not, and that's why I stated earlier that Russell needs to be that person that says, "Hey, I'm not your father." And you got to reinforce that. Had Mama Noise's dad's new wife stepped up and said, "Hey, you have other kids." You know what I mean? When they were taking those family vacations and Mama Noise was not a participant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, what about your other kids? That's why it takes 2 mature adults, or 3 or 4, whatever the case may be. If there's 2 new families or whatever the case, it takes mature adults, and unfortunately, you don't have that. You may be lucky to get one. Oftentimes, it's the man and the woman acting on emotions and not out of a place of love and concern for the child involved. But you have to have mature adults making those decisions for the betterment of the child.
Oof. If you got that invite, Mama Noise, what would that invite have done for you? I'm just curious.
I think the invite would have made me feel like you thought about me. That I'm not a burden, because me and my sister always got together and was like, we was here first. We your first children. And so you feel like because the marriage didn't work out, you just gonna find another wife and be like, yeah, I got other kids, but they be all right, because I send them a child support check. Bruh, your money, if I could give the money back, if I could have gave the money back, I'd have rather had my dad than the little, because that, little $100 a month. I'd have rather had my father, because I digress when I listen to Cuz and his daughter spending the type of quality time that is unparalleled. It's the kind where you say, man, I can't, if I'd have got a chance to go on a road trip with him where I don't have to share him and just spend time with him and just talk, ask questions, lean over and hug without your wife leaning in, trying to think somebody trying to say something, somebody trying to, share some, it's
and let me say this full disclosure, because Mama Noise and I have had this conversation quite a bit. But I have also said to her, "Woo, that's a tricky dynamic that we're talking about, because we don't know what level of vitriol was coming from her mom as it related to the whole circumstance. You know what I mean? So the man is trying to get in there and do the right thing, but boy, he's catching flames every time he steps into that fire, because he has moved on and he has built another life. And so I've tried to bring a little bit of balance, but it doesn't necessarily make that situation better by any stretch of the imagination. But go ahead. Cuz is here, y'all. And I'm sure he got a lot to say. So, Cuz, what are your...
I just started listening because I was busier than a one-legged man, Mama Noise.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and I lost.
You lost? Wow, that's not good.
Man, I didn't know I was so damn dark until I came on today. I can't even see myself. God,
well, we're praying for your strength in the Lord. Don't worry about it.
I saw a guy the other day that was so dark, he made me say, damn.
Okay.
That's a dog, bro.
Touche.
I'm sorry.
We're having fun right now. I like it.
I digress. You gotta lighten it up a little bit. This stuff is touching, man.
Yeah, you gotta lighten it up.
Yeah. Well, listen. I don't know what my life is about, other than what I do for those in my circle, in my family. Too many of us believe that it's about us, and when we dead and gone, then all that we've done is dead and gone with it.
Right. We
didn't leave a legacy behind. For any man out there listening, and I know it's tough. I get it. Even though I haven't experienced it personally, I do understand that it's tough. But for any man out there listening, whatever you have to do to be a part of your children's life, that's what you do. And whoever is impeding that, blocking that, slowing that down, making that difficult, that Negro ninja mother got to go. Because your grown ass don't matter more than my kids. The innocence.
What do you mean they have to go? What do you mean by that? I don't understand
Anybody
that.
that's stopping you, blocking you from experiencing life with your kids, from your kids experiencing life with you, they got to go. Whether that's your wife, the love of your life, whoever that is that's blocking that relationship from flourishing, they got to go.
Block it. Oh man.
Listen, I got a personal situation that I can speak on.
Okay.
I don't know. I get butt ass naked. I don't know if y'all can handle it.
Well, listen, we're here now. Let's go.
My brother-in-law, God bless his heart, is a married man, and he's a happily married man, and has a wonderful wife. I mean, she's really. Now, granted, this is his third wife, but he got it right the third time.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm.
Okay.
Wonderful person. After being married for shit hell 3-4 years, come to find out, he got another kid. By a woman that while he was dating the wife, the now wife, he got another woman pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Didn't know the woman was pregnant, didn't know the woman had the kid. Come to find out after they were married, he got another kid. That wife has done everything. Remember the wife I said is so good, right?
Right.
Has done everything in her power to facilitate that relationship with that kid. I mean everything.
Between them, the two of them.
Between the two of them.
Okay.
I mean paperwork, paying for gas, whatever you got to do, you make sure that man is a part of that kid's life. And he's doing just that. He goes and picks her up and brings her up, and she mothers that kid just like it's her own. That's not her kid. She had to deal with the ramifications of, Negro, you did it.
But
it's still his kid. And the kids should never suffer because of adult behavior.
And I don't disagree with that.
Should never suffer because of adult behavior. If we can't do adulting any better than making kids pay for the decisions we've made, then we are jacked up.
Now, I don't disagree with any of that. I think that's spot on. My challenge is
there ain't no challenge.
Hold on, there's a challenge, obviously, because we're talking about this particular situation. If what roles is everybody supposed to play, given the dynamics of the relationship? So if Future is a bad father, is Russell supposed to stand back and not be a good father because Future is a bad father? Like, what are the lines that you cross? Should he cross all the lines? And it doesn't matter, because the kid, only thing that matters is the success of that kid. Is that kid living like a person that's supposed to, that's the question that we're having here, because that's the dynamic that we're talking about.
Well, I didn't hear all of
yeah.
And them issue. I don't even know what you're talking about with Russell, man.
Well, on a podcast, somebody alluded to the fact that Russell would not have Sierra if he didn't have money, and that he's ultimately a corny dude. And no way Sierra would leave a real nigga like Future for a corny dude like Russell Wilson if he ain't had the bread.
That was dysfunctional. That was a dysfunctional comment and a broken person.
I couldn't have put it better. Cause he sure is throwing major shade. I'm sitting there going, why you care about who she with?
Stefan put something in the chat that's interesting. He said a few years ago, before his mom passed, she told him that his dad reached out and asked about him when he saw an article in the newspaper about when I was at U of L. I'm sad to say that I was very upset at her for never telling me, because I haven't seen my dad in 40 years and now don't know if he's even still alive.
Ooh, wow.
Wow.
See,
that's that adulting part that we get so twisted because we think that life is about us. Now, I'm not sure if Mama was trying to protect him or if Mom was still pissed at Dad. I don't know we don't know. None of us know. But even if Dad's not perfect, even if Dad's Johnny come lately, even if Dad's a drunk, now Dad can't be abusive. Don't misunderstand me. But regardless of Dad's brokenness to a degree, that kid deserves to know Dad. That kid deserves to know Mom. Because
what does no mean?
They will eventually resent you for keeping them away from who they are.
What does no mean? That kid deserves to know. What does no mean?
That kid has to have the opportunity to say, you know what, Dad is too broken. Dad is too dysfunctional. I don't want to deal with that. But give that kid the chance to know who Dad is. Too many of us don't know who we are.
But see, Jay, that's what we were saying initially. Well, I was talking about a few moments ago before you got here, is that there are some mothers that try to erase the very existence of the father. And then we're like, okay, what if it was because you bringing the child into a better environment? I said, but I think the child still later on in life is going to say, why didn't you tell me or let me meet my father or whatever? Like, you know, you looking at the different comments in the chat where, you know, Chad is like, he didn't have that opportunity. I mean, and he feels like he's missing out on something, or he missed out on something, or there's a something missing, if you will, because he never got a chance to meet that guy. Now, Grant, God rest her soul, his mom may have been like, I'm trying to protect my son, you know, from, you know, his dad or whatever the situation may be.
Because she did meet that dude.
Right. So you like, okay, so you think that not introducing or not, you know, involving me at all with this, my father is helping me, because at some point in your life you should say, you know what, okay, this is your father. Your father is Rock Johnson, and he live over on 23rd and South Side or whatever, and you know, he did this and that. Now you can make it up in your own mind. You want to go over and see Rock. I'm just telling you, you know, that was then and this is now. Or something. But to say I'm going to, like my dad's wife, that was like, I mentioned earlier, his wife was married before she met my dad. So when she met my dad, it was like the cream of the crop. She was like, shoot, she erased all existence of the two kids she had, their father. So their father don't even exist. She had my dad, adopt them. Yeah, get the last name. We don't, you know, them are to the curb. You know, they daddy is to the curb. He don't exist. Ain't no other man before your father in the lives of her children. And I'm like, wow, that's awful nice for somebody, you know what I'm saying, to go and do that. That's why when you said, how would I have felt if they'd invited me and my sister on all these, you know, all this world traveling and all this, you know, all these different vacations and stuff like that. Then what could we say if we know that we've been invited? If we know that, like Jay said, the brother's wife was trying to make sure they were included. Always, you know, holidays, make sure we invited you to the Thanksgiving. Make sure, you know, the invitation is open for you to come down and share Christmas.
So, okay, so I'm gonna throw out another scenario to what you guys are just saying. Are we ultimately saying that we want the kid to go? The kid is no matter what going to have to go through whatever. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Whatever traumatic understanding of that situation comes along with that, because it's a part of their personal development that they can't avoid because of the decision of the parents. Is that what we're saying?
It's not an easy road to hoe. Let's just put it like that. It's not easy.
That is tough.
Because of the decisions that adults have made. That's why everybody you see, you shouldn't sleep with. Everybody that can screw shouldn't have kids. Any dog underneath the house can screw. Any cow in the pasture can screw.
Yeah.
But it's much more to that when it comes to parenting. So when do we understand that there are ramifications for following that fine ass home?
But do we? But I guess what I'm bringing us back to is now that we're here, we didn't understand it. We blew it in every way. Now that we're here, because here's the reality of Little Future. The internet's undefeated and it never leaves. So eventually he's gonna pick up a phone in middle school, or because I think he's like elementary school now. But eventually he's gonna pick up a school phone in middle school and read about his daddy and all the kids. Well, he know he got a bunch of brothers and sisters now, but he gonna read about all the stuff that they say about his daddy. And man, that's a tough. And maybe this is Future's problem. This ain't Russell and Sierra's problem at all. This is Future's problem that he's gonna have to reconcile.
It is actually a part of their problem too. They need to try to figure out a way to facilitate it.
Yeah, and they need not put off till middle school because
that's right. If the SOB
these kids are on my bus with cell phones and they ain't even got out of 3rd and 4th grade. So
tough situation, man.
They need to get on top of it now.
We need to keep trying. That's right. If he ain't dead, keep trying.
Mm-hmm.
So should they? Go ahead.
Just make the effort. You gotta keep trying. Don't make that person out to be so bad, so as if there's no good quality in that person at all. That's easy to do. You can live over there and live a nice life and do all that you can to love and raise the kid, but you're still leaving a part out of who the kid is.
And I don't disagree with that, but the challenge that I have with what you're saying is that they can only validate to the point of the person's actions. And if they are saying, no, your dad's a good guy, give him a chance, but every time they do that, he fails or disappoints or comes up short.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a kid ain't stupid. He gonna form his own opinion.
But then you have to start discussing brokenness and what that means when a person is broken. Not that the person is a bad person. We want to label everybody, but the person has gone through some things and it's not where we are. You have to figure out ways.
Woo!
Listen, my mama covered for my hoish dad for years. Just so my brother and I didn't know Daddy was a hoe. Daddy was a hoe. But we didn't know that. Not until we were grown ass men. That woman kept lying to us. She could have said at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, when everybody was in the house but Daddy, your daddy out there hoeing. She could have said that.
She could have. I'm not sure what that would have done to help you in any way.
But she could have done it.
Yeah. I see, and that's the challenge. Like my mom, I don't know what information she could have given me about him that would have made me go, oh, he's a good dude, and I'm gonna give him a chance. And I mean, I don't know. That's an ugly situation.
You have to figure out a way. to protect those kids and give them a fighting chance. It's like when you go coon hunting. When you go coon hunting, you climb that tree. You take that stick and you poke the coon.
Yeah, that's a no. That's not gonna happen.
The coon.
The coon is going to jump out that tree and jump in amongst the dogs.
Heck no.
Now the coon has the option of whooping all them dogs and walking off. But at least you gave that coon a fighting chance.
Using the coon as an example.
This is the weirdest comparison.
I am not poking nothing.
I don't think we've ever had.
That ain't the most damnedest Mississippi analogy I've ever.
That was a Mississippi analogy.
Give the kids a fighting chance.
Yeah, and Nicole couldn't have said it better. Her,
yeah.
Let me formulate my own opinion.
Woo. Well, listen, this is the situation that they find themselves in. I don't think he's a corny dude, though, Russell Wilson. I think that is a horrible assessment of a really good guy. I think we've elevated the hood to places it has not earned the right to be.
And I think we hit this topic a few, maybe months ago when the young lady was on the podcast and said she didn't want no bank CEO. He working for his money.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. I mean, the question was asked: would you date a CEO at a bank making six figures? And
right. That's what. And she said no. Yeah, she said no. I want a hustler.
I don't want no dude like that. I want a dude with multiple sources of income.
Like you are, man.
Was she speaking from an illegal perspective? What is?
Well, she was speaking from a fool's perspective. Only a fool would say something like that. Only a fool would say something like that, I would believe.
Mm-hmm.
Or not a fool, a broken
man. I'm sorry. I'm trying, y'all. It takes time. This is a work in progress.
Well, at least he didn't say crazy.
She obviously something is not clicking, and it could be because there's some broken pieces missing. Because that rationale doesn't make any sense to me.
This is an interesting thing that Nicole has said too, by the way. Her father's best friend stepped up and was my father figure. That is, wow, what a dynamic.
Because her father's best friend knew that her daddy wasn't shit.
But the fact that he'd be willing to step up, that's the part that blows your mind in that scenario.
You got friends you know that ain't shit.
That is very true. That is very true.
He understands the innocence of the kids.
Yeah, but a lot of guys. But think about what she's saying. He put the reality of that over the code, the bro code that a lot of us would die for. Because I ain't never heard none of Future's friends say, I'm going to step in and be a father to Future because I know Future ain't shit. I mean, you don't hear that.
And let me clarify. I don't know Miss Yancey, Miss Brown's father. So
yeah,
I don't know if he is or ain't. I just use that as a
well, but that's what I'm saying. It's the fact that that's an amazing thing that he would step up. The best friend would step up and be like, I got you.
Right.
That's wild, man. That's unbelievable.
My mom's, a whole lot of my life, the different little things I learned were from, my mom's boyfriends, like one boyfriend taught me how to drive.
Uncles.
No, I'm not going to say that. Taught me how to drive. And I was like, okay, he taught me how to drive. Then she's like, okay, they ain't together no more. Okay, so then, the one that's hung in there the longest, he taught me, and I saw him, preparing a turkey and preparing ribs and, cooking in the kitchen, pancakes and stuff like that, and showed me how to make oatmeal cookies and stuff like that. I'm like, so he made such an impact on my life that when I got married, I refused to let my biological father stroll down that aisle like he'd been doing, like I've been here the whole time. So I went down the aisle like Dorothy and on the Wizard of Oz. I had my father on one side and my mother's husband on the other side. I went down the aisle with both of them because I was like, you're not, I love you, but I'm not getting ready to let you come strolling down this aisle, strutting like a peacock in front of these people. Like, I've been here this whole time and now I'm finna give my daughter away. Bruh, can't do it. I'm letting you do it because you're biological. But my mother's, my mother's husband, that guy showed me a whole lot of things, taught me a whole lot of things about cars and food and, just growing up stuff. So I said, I have got to let him walk down this aisle with me.
So your mother had multiple boyfriends. Did she have multiple husbands too while you were a kid?
My mother was married a total of 3 times.
Was your dad one of those marriages?
My dad was first husband.
Okay. So she had 2 other marriages and other boyfriends.
Well, the boyfriends were spread out, until she got married. But yeah, the boyfriend.
So you valued marriage because of that one gentleman that you said was a good model of a husband.
I mean, I got to see the type of stuff I wanted to see with my dad. My dad is an incredible cook. My dad was an incredible gardener and marksman, and his list of accolades run down the street. But I didn't get to see all of that. All I did was hear about it.
But you got to see it through the other.
But through the eyes of her husband number 2, I got to see, husband number 3, I got to see the fathering. I got to see the taking time just to show me, what was wrong with my cookies that I was making that, and then let me help you make them over again.
You scared me right there for a second. You said, what was wrong with my cookies? I said, Jesus.
That ain't what she meant.
We were making oatmeal cookies, and I used baking soda instead of
baking powder.
Yeah, and so I was trying to figure out what happened. So he helped me to make them over correctly.
Think of this. You got to see it through him. How many of our young ladies don't get to see marriage modeled at all in their home because men are coming in and out like on a revolving door, just nothing but boyfriends, uncles, whatever you want to call them. My friend coming over tonight. So a young lady never really gets to value marriage and understand what marriage really is. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
So it also happens with our young men. They don't get to see marriage. They get to see a whole lot of fucking going on, but they don't get to see marriage.
That's true.
That was my wife's story. Men just coming in and out, coming in and out, coming in and out. Now you have to figure out how to be a wife. You've never seen wife.
I agree. Because you think is that what marriage is?
So the hope is that, and I keep going back to Russell Wilson's situation because it's a great example of the bigger thing we're talking about here. The hope is that he's going to see Russell and what he is doing with him, and that's going to be the example that he uses to measure his own family or to build his own family, more so than the example he sees of his father. Is that what we think is going to happen? Or do you become what your DNA says you are?
Say that one more again. Say that one more again.
Do you become what your DNA says you are?
The first part about.
Well, is this situation with Russell going to be enough for him to overcome his life circumstances of the example of his father, or is this going to be a situation where his DNA says that he's a hoe, and so he's going to end up being a hoe?
Negative. You have to understand your DNA, though. You have to know what your DNA is. That's why it's important for every child to know their parent.
But I'm saying,
meet your parent. Somebody needs to tell you the God honest truth about your parent, because they see some traits in you that remind them of your dad, of your mama. They need to tell you this is where you're getting this from. Now, if you want to continue that path, that's you. But this is where it's coming from.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to make a decision one way or the other. So he's either going to decide that I don't want to be nothing like my dad, or he's going to decide like it's us. I'm talking about us right now. We made a decision based on what we saw. We were like, okay, based on what I saw in this dude, I won't be nothing like this dude. I'm going to become the complete opposite of what everything that this man stood for. And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. So I'm wondering if that's going to be the case in this situation. And we don't know, but I'm asking the question just openly because that's the discussion we're having today. Because that's what we're talking about. Because you said that influence is coming in hot. Chad said he made a decision like that. I'm gonna be the complete opposite of this dude in every way.
And that's because you have to be at some point appalled by the behavior of that dude.
Well, that's the hope.
Right.
The hope is that you'll be appalled.
Right. If you are appalled by it, you'll go the opposite direction.
Right.
You know, I found myself as a parent doing things that reflected my childhood situations where, like at Christmas time, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I remember the one Christmas that, you know, that I didn't really get what I wanted, or that it was a Christmas where we could only afford a few things. So then I was like, I got to go to Big Lots and try to see if I can, how many toys I can get out of this, trying to, you know, so that, you know, when Azaria goes to the Christmas tree, she'll have a lot, you know, a lot of gifts, you know, so she'll know how much that we love her a lot. But only until afterwards, it's like I came down from that high and was like, man, I went out and was trying to just make sure, you know, I just want to make sure she has a lot. Or when I was in the 6th grade, I started my menstrual cycle in the 6th grade, and I was in so much pain. And my mom was working for General Electric at that time, and they worked on an assembly line. And she was like, you better not have them people call me where I have to stop the assembly line and come up to the school because you misbehaving. But right. Not feeling well was not something to stop the assembly line either. So anytime that the kids would call and say, Mom, I think, you know, I may have started, I'm like, I go into this, well, then I need to make sure I got to get there. I got to make sure you got everything you need. You need me to come pick you up? Do you have enough pain medicine? I'm just going into overdrive because I remember what it was like when my mom couldn't be there.
And you don't ever want her to feel like.
That's right. I never want them to feel like mom or dad is so busy that we can't come and not, you know, rescue you or, you know, or try to ease you, make you feel comfortable, or at least let you know that we're here. If you grow up as a child, and a whole lot of times you had moments where there was nobody to call, or that you really experienced something weighty like that, you like, man, once I have my own children, once I get married, I don't want my kids to have to experience that.
I've said that same thing too, but in some cases, we mimic what we see, because I said I wasn't gonna beat my kids' ass, but as I got older, I said, shit.
Let the beatings commence. Then that's real talk. You be trying, you be like, I'm not gonna whoop my kids, and then you like, man, she need her ass whooped. You know, you just do y'all agree with what Nicole said here at the end? She said behavior is not inherited. It is a mirror of the examples that you see.
I disagree. You don't have to be around a parent to be just like them.
Man, my sister's just like my dad.
That's why you got to be careful who you screw.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I have to agree with you on that. I've seen too many examples to where the kid was never around this parent, never, and they became exactly what that parent was.
But I totally disagree and agree with Nicole.
Okay.
I don't think it is scientifically possible for behavior to be genetics. I believe the people around you manifest those characteristics from your biological parent onto you. But I don't think that a behavior can be genetically. I think it's
passed
something
down,
quickly learned. Yeah, because if we accept that, then we're forced to accept other things that have been blamed on genetics and learned behaviors.
I got you. I think the as a blanket statement, there's an inaccuracy to it. But I do think that there's something that can be passed down in us that, if not interrupted, it can manifest.
Well, let's just dig a little bit deep. Let's just dig a little bit deep, because that's an excellent. I'm glad you said that, Al B, because we can discuss it for just a second.
Yeah.
My intelligence, is that passed down?
No.
Oh.
Are you sure?
I absolutely. My son and my daughter are far more intelligent than I or my wife could ever be. And their ACT scores prove that.
I'll be, you're not a dummy.
Oh, no. I'm not.
Okay.
But I would never.
So they started off at a good base. They started off coming from.
Right. But my mind does not configure numbers like my son. Mathematically, he is far greater. He scored a 32 composite in math.
I believe intelligence is passed down.
Albie, you be sitting on here and we be talking about numbers, and you done already.
I was gonna say, I would say,
I'm not saying I am, but his intelligence far exceeds mine.
Well,
and see, I would tremendously and emphatically disagree with that. You are a beast with numbers. Like, I've seen you, like, just on this show, like Mama Noise said. We'll say, well, what is this? And you be like, oh, it's that's this, or that's a percentage of this, or this. You at now, did you work the mathematical mental muscle at the same propensity that he did? Maybe not. But the foundation of that muscle is you. That's all you, in my humble opinion.
Well,
Some kids have to work their ass off in school just to get a B.
Listen,
Some
listen.
kids come to school and get an A with little to no effort. That's intelligence that was passed down.
Right.
Now you have to still work it. Don't misunderstand me. You can't be a lazy ass and not
Right.
do anything with it. But it's passed down, Albie. I believe that.
I think it is too. I think your kids are highly intelligent because you highly intelligent.
Exactly.
Just the way you conceptualize stuff. I mean, I think your kids are blessed because they got good genes from their daddy. I'm not gonna.
Now, can hard work overcome that? Absolutely.
I don't know what she means by that. You have to clarify that, Nicole. Go ahead.
She doesn't believe that it's passed down.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know we could, in my opinion, I've seen some things. I've seen some things where like a family member did one thing and it's like the same family member did the exact same, like the son of the family member did the exact same thing. They didn't grow up in the house with him. So where did it come from? That this guy, the mindset of the man is he's never had to depend on himself for anything. He's always had his mama to co-sign to get a car, to co-sign to get a house. So then as soon as, he moved out of the house, he found another woman. It wasn't his mama, but he found a woman to help him get the next thing he wanted to do. And then the next thing. So then him and the woman had a child, a boy child. He didn't grow up with the guy. But the boy did the exact same thing. He can't do nothing for himself. He goes around looking for some woman to help co-sign, some woman to help him do something. And it's like it's a cookie cutter. He did exactly what his father did. And you're like, man, how did this happen if he didn't grow up in the house to be able to see that that's how you're supposed to do it? That's exactly what he did. And he wasn't even in the house so you can say it was the environment.
I think we have to come to the realization that we pass on to our kids more than just their complexion and their big noses and their some girls are just bound to have big asses because mama had a big ass. I mean, you ain't got no other choice.
Well, that's DNA.
It's more than just physical. It's also mental.
Yeah.
It has to be, I believe, that we pass that on.
Al, do you really think you didn't pass down your math gene to your son? Like you really believe that?
Absolutely not.
Really? Wow, that's stunning.
Being modest.
No,
I don't think he's being modest. I think he really is saying he don't see it.
When Jeremiah was still in school, we used to compete in math, and Jeremiah makes me feel like I should have been on the little bus. He is just that fast and that good at math.
Okay. So I heard you say that your son could really sing. Mm-hmm. Where do you think he got the singing from?
His mama.
What the?
Okay, but the point is he got it from a parent.
Come on here.
And you can sing too. So he got
but that too is a learned behavior. I don't think it's genetic. You mimic because you hear people saying, be like, oh, and then my daddy be up there doing
yeah, and there's some of them that are tone deaf. They can be trying to mimic all they want to, but it ain't happening.
This is a very fascinating situation. Maybe we have to dive deeper into this on tomorrow because is it DNA or is it
live or is it Memorex?
Yeah, what is the reason for the success? What is the reason for that gift coming out of a child? I tend to believe it has a lot of it has to do with DNA. But I think DNA only gets you to the foundation.
Right.
I don't think DNA gets you to the finish line because Michael Jordan's kids can play basketball, but none of them have what he had. They didn't have his work ethic at all.
Well,
but there are
look at Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston mother could sing.
Yeah.
But she couldn't sing as good as Whitney Houston.
Right.
But
That's
she
exactly
started up at that base. She got her talent from her mama, but she took it to another level, and she had to work her ass off to do it.
Nicole is hitting y'all with the humble flex right now. Obviously, her son's track skills is from her. That's
Are
why
you trying to say that out loud, Sora? I'm sure your
she
husband
said it out loud. She humble flexed all.
your husband would say, "Now wait a minute."
I will brag on my little cousin and let y'all know he is doing things as a freshman up at the University of DePaul. Keep your eye and ears open for young Mr. Darius Brown.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, we're gonna welcome to Nicole to the show properly.
And that was a humble flex.
Because she flexed all up in that conversation. Like clearly he got those skills from me.
Okay.
Hey, listen, athletic parents have athletic kids, correct?
That's how it feels to me.
You still got to work it, but
you got to work it. But yeah, they have a baseline athleticism. Yeah.
Well, look at Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
He got all them boys out there playing football, and then
even the girls as well. The girls got scholarships.
Every child is playing a sport.
Some kids just bounce out the gym just because that's who they are. They got it from their parents.
Ain't that a song? She get it from.
But you know what's interesting about what you're saying? So let's use another example that's a little weird. Let's use another example that makes this conversation even more bizarre. Because think about this. Kobe Bryant far surpassed his father. His father played in the NBA and overseas.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but he was a far better player than Jelly Bean Bryant ever was.
His name was Jelly Bean?
They call him Jelly Bean.
And that's why they call Kobe Bean.
Jelly Bean. Among other things, yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's wrong with LB?
You never heard Jelly Bean? Jelly Bean, Jelly Bean, Jelly Bean, Jelly Bean. No, okay.
No, that's a different song, LB.
Oh, sorry.
While we're on that subject, I watched Winning Time last night again.
Again?
Yeah, I watched it.
Is it a new episode come out every week, or are you just watching the same
every Sunday? Every Sunday. I chose to watch it.
Okay.
I chose to watch it. It was good.
It's not a new episode, Mama Noise. He's watching the same thing over and over again.
I am not. I'm watching it. New episode.
He is that type of person. He will do it.
I will do that too, though.
You need to get in the chat, man. Get in the chat.
What are you seeing in the chat that I just got to get to the chat?
Fired up J State. Fired up. Hey.
Oh, look, that's okay.
I don't need to get in the chat for that. I don't need to get in the chat. Y'all J State people work that out amongst yourselves. That ain't got nothing to do with the rest of it.
But didn't he tell us he didn't even go to Jackson State?
He didn't go to Jackson State. I don't understand why all this did. Because didn't you go to Alcorn?
I didn't go to Jackson State because I knew too many Negroes that was going to Jackson State.
So where did you go? Where did you go?
I need to go there because I was born and raised right down the street, right down Robinson Road.
All my exes go to Jackson State.
All we're going to do it there is party. So I did not go to Jackson State for that reason. But I've always been a huge fan. Come on, it's Jackson State.
That makes sense, though. Because the first thing you think about is if I go to school where I live, where all my folks is right there, I might not get nothing done.
I ain't gonna lie to you. That one semester I went to U of L, I did okay, but it wasn't great. I said I got to get back to Moorhead.
I had to get up through.
This ain't gonna work.
At least get 100 miles or something.
Yeah, it ain't gonna work. This too many people know me. They all. Hey man, let's go to such and such. Oh man, come on.
For real.
What is that? Do you really like Lloyd, or is it because you're a Laker fan?
what you watching? Do you really like it, or is it because you're a Laker fan?
Great question. I like it because it's interesting. It's historically interesting, and it's reasonably accurate. Like last night's episode was about Jack. People don't know.
Supposed to say nothing. They ain't
No. Listen, I'm not spoiling. It's not a spoiler alert at all.
Oh, okay.
Those who know the Laker history know this story.
Mm-hmm.
That the year that Magic came, they fired, or Jerry West fired himself, went up into the front office, and they hired this guy from Portland, Jack McKinney. Well, Jack had this innovative offense, and he's technically the one that actually brought the Showtime offense to the Lakers. But inside of 9 games, he had a horrible bicycle accident that almost killed him. And that's how Paul Westhead and ultimately Pat Riley ended up coaching the team.
Hey,
So,
one of the great franchises in NBA history. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
not today, it's not.
But they suck this year.
They suck.
They suck.
They're so bad.
Yeah, they suck bad.
It's so hard to watch too, bro.
And they're going to suck for a little while to come, too.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they can work some things out. But right now it's bad. It's really, really bad.
They're too top heavy. With
It's really, really bad.
the talent they got is old and broken. They got to rebuild.
I admit we gotta make some changes.
Yeah.
Got some things we gotta do.
What's that one guy? What's that one guy that can't stay healthy? What's his name?
He said can't stay healthy.
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis, he's not wrong.
He broke.
What did the empty paper towel roll say to the empty milk jug?
Oh no!
What did he say, Al?
We trash. The Lakers are trash, man. We trash.
Well, since we're here, and I know I'm sure we're gonna get into this deeper on the 5 later on this week.
Mm-hmm.
But there is an article that's out right now about Anthony Davis feeling the type of way about people saying that he's injury prone.
He can't stay healthy, man. Dude, did you watch the game last night?
I got to be honest with you. At this point in my life, I'm trying to keep stress away, and every time I watch them play, it's the same thing over and over again. They come out, they get a lead, then they go into halftime down, then they make a run in the third quarter, and then they end up getting beat by 15 to 20 points. That's the same. It's the same game over and over and over again. So after I've seen one, I pretty much have seen them all.
Yeah, but that's your team. You got to watch. I watched. That man played the first few minutes, about 5-6 minutes. Then he was sitting on the sideline, on the sideline, whatever you want to call it.
Who, Anthony Davis?
With his shoe off.
That's how he does every game.
You couldn't even finish the first quarter.
But that's how he's done his entire career.
But that's all. That's all part of the image too, because we tried to go, but we just couldn't. We didn't want people to think we tanked in the season. We tried to go, but we just couldn't overcome the pain.
Right.
I'm not going to put that out.
It's a narrative that
they won't play. Neither one of them will play the next game.
How about this? How about LeBron will probably win the scoring title? So guess what you can't say at the end of the day? Well, it wasn't LeBron's fault.
You see the fake
They
story?
blame LeBron.
You see the fake story that came out this morning that he announced his retirement?
Yeah, I saw that April Fool's thing.
He won't win the scoring title.
I hope not.
He won't.
Because that's rude.
Well, injuries to other players help edit that story.
Yeah. Mama, we started talking about sports, so let's get off that. Right
Well, we're not really talking about sports. We're just simply saying the Lakers suck, and it's unfortunate, but
You know, the Lakers suck. Your Giants suck.
My Giants will be just fine. We're doing okay. They're actually having a really good offseason.
When's the draft?
In about 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Listen, I do want to say congratulations to Louisville's girls basketball team.
First of all, put some respect on it.
Louisville, Texas got a girls basketball team.
Yeah, put some respect on it. We don't
What
talk
about
about
Louisville,
Tupelo.
Minnesota? I mean, I don't know who you're talking about.
Well, we talking about Tupelo.
Do you realize they beat UConn more than they beat Louisville? So we may have had a fighting chance had we got past South Carolina.
I think we would have had a fighting chance. I think we would have been all right, but it just, we ran into.
It wasn't in the cards.
I see what you did there. I see. Our best player wasn't prepared for that moment. She was not prepared. She kind of in that moment.
Or they understood the assignment and they put it on our best player.
They absolutely understood the assignment.
It was a great
they put the clamp on her.
Yeah.
I think she finished with 9 points, but
are you SOBs going to acknowledge that it was a good season for the team?
It was a fantastic season. It was a fantastic,
exceptional season.
That's all that matters. It actually kept you guys from slitting your wrists.
They
listen.
You don't realize, Cuz Noise, and I think I've said it on this show. Had it not been for their Thursday victories and their Sunday victories, easing the sting of the men's Wednesday losses and Saturday losses, I would have been a miserable SOB this year.
Oh.
I almost forgot one of my most important stories, y'all. I almost forgot one of the most important stories. Y'all, guess who made up?
Oh, yeah.
Monique and Lee Daniels. They made up.
I saw that.
Lee apologized to Monique. Well, I'll let you hear it for yourself. Here.
To realize. I am so sorry for hurting you in any way that I can.
She's crying on the stage.
Well, she was my best friend. My best friend. Y'all think that Precious was just that was God working through both of us. And we're gonna do it again.
That was I need you moment.
I know this is what we would say, but I'm gonna say it anyhow. It shouldn't have taken so long.
13 years.
She suffered a long time, and he knew she was suffering. Should have taken that long.
I wonder what drove them to reconciliation.
Sometimes you just got to grow up.
You mean like when Will apologized to Huber?
Janet Huber, yeah. How long do you think it'll take him to apologize to Chris Rock? Because if you matured,
he should have made that call by now.
You supposed no.
No, you got to
call. Chris, meet me at such and such. Meet me at Dave Chappelle's house.
Well, Chris lives in New
Dave
York.
Chappelle should call a powwow.
Chris lives in Jersey. Will lives in California.
Meet me at Dave Chappelle's house in Ohio.
That's right.
They both got enough money to jet anywhere.
That's right.
Exactly. You're supposed to go. Listen, Will got to go apologize. Now, there's a lot that needs to happen in that conversation because I think this is a lot deeper than just that one slap. But whatever that is, they need to sit down as men and have a conversation. Damn a red table. We won't see that. Nobody needs to see
we don't.
Go sit down as men. Men go work it out.
No, we also need to sit in public too because our young men need to.
Well, we can see them work it out. We can see them step up after the fact. But I'm saying go sit down and say some things that you maybe can't say publicly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But it still has to come public because our young men need to understand that egos need to be squashed.
I agree. 100%. 100%.
I think you're right. It needs to be Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is that dude. If he will hop a plane and fly out to Wyoming and go see Kanye as soon as he, had his little situation.
So will Tyler and Oprah also give Monique, let her off the hook?
It needs to be done, man. It needs to be done. When your
Was Monique right the whole time, or they just need to go ahead and squash because it should have never gotten this.
Whatever. When your sister or brother hurts, you have an obligation to reach out to them. Even when you think you're not wrong. See, our egos stop us from doing that. No skin off your back to reach out and say, you know what? I'm sorry for any misunderstanding, anything I did.
Wow.
Because they know financially, Monique took a huge hit.
She took a massive hit and has been taking that hit. I hope she saved well because she was taking it.
Well, well, I don't know if it matters, but what happened? What happened to call somebody to say, I'm going to blackball you from everybody that you know, because she was the thing at one point.
She didn't do what they wanted her to do.
Right. She didn't play the game the way that like they wanted her to play. Now, she still won in some measure. I don't know what happened to Cuz, but she still won in some measure. But I don't know. She didn't win. She won the Oscar, but she definitely lost the war.
But to be honest, well, not to be honest, this is just my opinion. Her response, her rapid initial response, kind of brought on and led to the longevity of the dispute. I think she went about it, and I understand she was hurt, but she didn't contribute. She didn't help the matter any.
No,
at the same time, she was speaking her truth.
Right. Well, her truth. Yeah, you're right.
Should you always speak your truth?
Absolutely, but you should also be willing to accept the consequences.
Right. Okay. Well, okay. I just want to say, like, you can say whatever you want to say. It might come with.
Listen, the dysfunction that took place on the stage of Will slapping Chris. White America media is in an uproar about that. How could that happen? But nobody has said how Monique was slapped financially in her life. Nobody cared. Nobody gave a damn. They really, to a degree now, they screwed her over. Because she was blackballed.
The day of that is where I struggle. I think they didn't rescue her when they saw her falling. That's probably, to me, that's a better way to say it. Right. She did the damage and she jumped off the cliff, but they could have thrown her a lifeline and said, y'all, please, in Hollywood, give her a pass. She didn't understand how it works. They could have done some things to soften.
We are more concerned about the physical abuse that took place on the stage, but there was mental abuse going on with this case. Because they knew she was suffering and they appeared to not give a damn. That's why the woman standing on stage crying while he's apologizing, because she suffered and they knew she was suffering.
I was right all along.
Well, that's the thing. I'm wondering if she's gonna come out and say, "Well, I told y'all I was right. That's why Lee apologized."
You remember how when Iyanla, I think you don't like her, whatever, but Iyanla Van Zandt and Oprah had their falling out.
Yes, I do remember that.
How they came back together and talked that thing out on the Oprah show. Yeah, it happened.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that's how it went down.
They let Monique go, and that was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, but y'all had to sit on the sideline for some years too.
Somebody should have taken you talking about taking a jet and flying somewhere. Somebody should have flown to Monique and say, you know what, sister?
They could have. Now the reality is they could have. But now to again, once
it's kind of hard to hop a jet and fly across the country to apologize when somebody done told you to suck their
right. Well, you can take it too far.
Understand the level of brokenness that existed there. You have to. You're supposed to be so damn together. You should understand the level.
No. That maybe Monique should have understood their brokenness. Because we're all broken, right?
I agree.
Listen, that's what one of the things that D.L. Hughley said, and he may have stolen from our church show. I don't know, but he said because he said exactly what we said. That's why. That's the only reason I said it.
You been saying that all the time.
Well, because it sounded awfully familiar, is what I'm saying. I just I ain't saying we said it first, but I'm just saying we said it.
Okay.
Check the timestamp is what I'm saying. But he said, when two broken people collide publicly, you're gonna get a bad situation, a bad result. And so you got Tyler's brokenness, Oprah's brokenness, Lee Daniels for sure brokenness.
Mm-hmm.
There was no way that this wasn't going to end bad.
But
if people aren't mature enough to deal with it behind closed doors.
We have to start doing better about each other. We have to do better as a people, and stop being so willing to dismiss.
So to that point you just said, here's the last thing we're going to close with. We may pick up from here tomorrow. Should we be fighting for Will right now?
You damn right.
Folks ain't fighting.
I learned that from you and Cuz last week.
Yeah.
Because remember, I was at a point, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, you was like, yeah.
Who cares? I didn't learn jack shit.
You did say that.
But did what later in the week.
But that's not how you ended the week, though. Yeah.
Exactly, because I now understand that although it was handled completely wrong and I lost tons of respect for how he handled it, that man, both of them men need healing.
Yeah.
So,
you know what was interesting? Tatiana Ali, who played the original Ashley on the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, she said in a tweet, she said, "I love Will with all of my heart. I have seen him go out of his way to be the good guy and the man that he's trying to be. Having said that, he was absolutely wrong for slapping Chris. And I really appreciated her perspective, maybe more than most, because she does have a 20-plus year relationship with this man. So she knows. She's seen all the good, bad, and maybe even the ugly. But for her to call out her big brother and say he was wrong.
His mama said, "I've never seen that behavior from him." His own mama.
Yeah.
I've never seen that behavior from him. And all of us were, the reason why we thought it was a stunt, because we've never seen that behavior from him.
That's right.
Well, listen, it is a story that will not die right now, so we will see where it's headed.
Because white media ain't gonna let it die.
They definitely
Oh
not.
my gosh, they are browbeat. It is just a dead horse, just beating it and beating it.
Well, now the Academy just has to do something, but they just keep talking about it.
Yeah. Andy Bruce will tell Will I'll get those divorce papers in the mail for.
Whoopi said, "Well, we're not taking his.
We're not taking his Oscar."
I don't think they will.
Board, so.
Yeah, I don't think they will, but I do think we're gonna have to go into hiding for about a year or two, I think. Because they talking about pulling Bad Boys 4, they talking about pulling other movies, Netflix. Oh, we can't go on with the production until
that's excessive.
Well, it's what it is it's called
Bad
CYA.
Boy 4 in itself is excessive. If we want
right. It's called CYA. That's what's happening right now. Everybody's under CYA.
Did they pull all the Weinstein stuff?
Eventually.
And they put everything he's done.
They sold it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Somebody else owns it.
Right.
Pulp Fiction is still around. You just
right. So
you don't know.
So yeah, come on.
All right.
That's why we got to be very careful. Always as a people, we got to be very careful buying into media hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good people. What an interesting in case you missed it Monday this has been, I have to say. Definitely went a different direction than we thought it was going.
Who is that typing?
I don't know.
Oh, that's my fireplace. Hold on.
That's what that noise is in the background?
Yeah, the fireplace.
I thought it was Jay's dog playing.
I thought it was somebody typing too.
Oh, sorry, that's my fireplace.
Why you got a fireplace on? What's wrong with you?
It's soothing.
You need to be soothed right now?
All right, let's end it. Let's end it right now.
Is that it? Is that was the last one?
Let's end it.
I can come up and soothe your ass. I can soothe you in ways.
Oh no, that's fun enough.
Shout out to Saturday night. It was so good. I gotta give him that.
Oh my gosh.
So good. So very good. Y'all.
Jay, the messages we got.
So people got blessed Saturday night as a result of that.
People like, y'all need to do that monthly. People like, I'm gonna go and give my husband some yummy right now. I'm like,
are we such a sexually deprived nation that we need them conversations that bad?
That we're not having those conversations.
America has always had sexual hangups that European nations don't have.
They don't have that problem.
And it's in part because of our religion.
See?
Uh-oh.
It's true.
Yeah, it's true.
Went down a slippery slope, Jay Jordan.
It's very true, though.
We like, we could talk about everything else, but that.
Yeah.
All right, good people. We love you. We've had a great day. We'll be back again, do it all over again tomorrow. I don't know what we're talking about. We'll just be back tomorrow. But until then,
peace out.